Welcome to the 346th episode of the So Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we'll be talking about it. Today, we are recording on July 23rd, 2023. My name is Brad Galloway. I'm the editor of GameCritics.com, and I'm also 50% of this here show. That's right, 50%. Because who's back from the tropics? It's Carlos Rodella.
I'm back from the jungle. I've done a lot of cutting of weeds and jungle parts. I don't know what they're called.
Bushes, trees, vines. I don't know.
Vines. There was a lot of vines. One got around my leg and I couldn't move. But I'm
dangerous.
Back from the crazy jungle.
Welcome back, dude. It's been a while. I'm very excited to have you back. It's good to hear your voice again. I'm glad you made it back in one piece. Got your shots, got some antibiotics, and you're good to go, right?
I'm almost there. You know, it wounded me. The jungle was rough.
I've heard it's very rough. So we'll help you with that trauma. We'll get you past it. Folks, Carlos is back. Just a really quick update for the schedule for the near future. I think Carlos is probably going to be doing every other show. Does that sound about right, Carlos?
It's about right. Let's say TBD, but
Okay.
Also, who knows how long I have to be in this jungle? It's like a job now, a second job.
Second job, because we
Yeah.
all got to make ends meet. Everybody's gigging these days, and
Yes.
if you got to go to the jungle and hack down some bushes, that's what you got to do. All right, folks, he's back. I'm back. We're ready to get this show on the road. I was going to say off the road, which may be appropriate because you are in a jungle, so it would be off-road.
I was very off-road.
Yeah, no, let's say on the road for this one. We've got a big show this week. We're going to just get right into the thick of things. Starting off with housekeeping. Folks, Carlos and I share a virtual living space divided down the middle with a strip of duct tape. His side, my side, everything's a mess, and we're tidying up right here, right now. It's housekeeping. Carlos, what you got on your side of the room?
Well, a couple of real-world things, because I was in the real world, in the jungle. Very real.
Jungle's a real place, yeah.
Yeah, and right outside the jungle, weirdly enough, was a Barnes & Noble's.
Right next to the Starbucks, right?
Yeah, well, it was inside it. There was a Starbucks
Oh, there you
inside
go.
it.
Yeah, exactly. There you
So
go.
I went out of the jungle into Barnes & Noble's because I was like, well, this is here. And I got some real-world kind of game and game-adjacent books.
Books. What is a book?
It's a thing that's like made from paper or hopefully recycled paper. And you open it and then you read and look at pictures and stuff.
That's wild. I'm going to Google that, but go ahead and keep telling us about it.
Yeah, well, on the picture front, I got a magazine, Edge magazine. Remember that?
What? Edge magazine? They still print that?
Yeah, and it's really good because I like the idea of having, a quick like look at what's going on, but also it's not just like updated all the time online memes and edits and stuff to like web pages. It's like just this thing that they wanted to tell you about, like an interview.
Yeah.
The
I guess that's an advantage, right? Because they know you're paying money, number one, which is something you can't get people to do on the internet. So you're paying money.
Yep.
You're sitting down. They know you want to read the words. So I guess they're going to be more intentional and give you something more substantial, right?
Right, but again, this is something before, internet or whatever, like was just very normal, which is how you delineate information was in this format, this kind of shortened format.
Yeah.
If you think about it, these pages, like if I'm looking at one right now, it's talking about the game Nighthawks. It's about showing the imagery and you getting excited, of the consumer or whatever, and then telling a little bit of history and in a short form, not like a full book. And I just love that feeling. So we get some of that through Twitter and we get some of that through websites and your website, Game Critics. But I just like the idea of, one, being able to just bring it with you, the tactile feel of it. And like you said, kind of a very focused idea of what they're giving you for the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love it. I recommend it to people, especially gamers, people who play video games. Edge magazine. Love it. And also picked up a manga, which I haven't picked up in a while.
Wow, was it heavy?
Yeah, I picked it up and I was like, wow, I'm got to work out.
You've been doing too much leg day, bro. Can't skip arms.
Well, I'm doing arms in the jungle now.
Okay, that's true.
So anyways, it's called Delicious Dungeon, and it's like an RPG-ish manga, and the idea is that these companions go into this dungeon, and then they're really poor, so they don't have enough money for food and rations, so they got to eat the monsters in the dungeon.
Nice.
That's
nice.
the whole the bit.
And this, I believe I've seen this one. I know there's a couple like this, but I think this is what I'm thinking of, where it doesn't have actual recipes in the back of the book or like in the middle of the book or something.
Yeah, it definitely feels like as you're going along, they're like planning out how they're going to eat these monsters. It's gross kind of in a way, but it's very funny, and I like any RPG piece of media, but definitely a manga has been fun to go back to.
Oh, right on. Interesting. Has there like 27 million entries in that series, or do you know how many?
Oh, I don't know. I just picked it up because it was volume 1. So
gotcha.
We'll see what happens. But it just my friendly reminder to people to go pick up physical media too. It's fun, especially when it comes to gaming books and magazines.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned physical media, dude, because I'm not going to talk about it on the show, but I went back to Hitman 3. I know that you played Hitman 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am a famous Hitman fan. We haven't talked about it in a while, but like when Corey Motley was doing the show before you joined, we did like, I think, a famous, like it was nearly a 5-hour podcast just on Hitman. We went through every game, every mission. You can ask me about anything Hitman, but for whatever reason, honestly, I just bounced off of Hitman 3. I did not get into it, which is so strange because I love the series so much. So I came back to it. I'll get into the what I thought of it and all that stuff later on. I'll make that for a future show. But it's funny because I sat down in front of my PlayStation 5 and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play some Hitman, and I hit start and it's like, insert disc. And I'm like, what? Insert a what? I literally was paralyzed for a moment because like God's honest truth, dude, although I am a lover of physical media, I haven't bought a disc in so long that I was like, what is this, like a bug? Do I even have a disc for this? I was like started running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and I couldn't. Like, where would I even put a disc? Where did it go? I had like no fucking clue. What? And I did. I was like, okay, so wait, I better go down to the basement. I got a box of games somewhere, and it was in there, and I could not remember ever buying it. I didn't remember ever having a disc because I just got so used to this digital future where everything's on your hard drive or everything's on the cloud and you just download it or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, it threw me for a fucking loop that I had to go find a disc. It was such a weird blast from the past, but not really even that far in the past, but it feels like a million years ago now.
Well, and also it means you must have installed it with that disc.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Because normally, because I have Hitman 3 too, and I just bought it digitally, so it never asked me for that.
Oh man, it was just the weirdest fucking thing. I like was frozen and didn't know how to proceed.
Nice.
I was like, what? Does not compute disc? What?
Yeah.
Anyway, so fucking weird.
I do miss going to those stores though and buying a physical game too. I like the store idea. It felt good.
Oh yeah, dude, for real. Like, just to get on the old man soapbox for a minute here. I mean, at Game Critics, we don't run this article anymore, but I had a really long running article series called Bargain Basement, where I would literally go to a store and dig through their bargain bins and see what was $5, what was $10, and I would pick something out and I would bring it back and play it, and I would write about those. I mean, I had like, that was one of our most popular articles, as a matter of fact. It was a really, really popular feature, but that's just not a thing that I do anymore. I mean, I guess we could do like a what's on sale, but it doesn't have the same feeling of like, going to a place and digging through a bin and seeing what surprises are waiting for you in the box. And you never know, that old school stuff.
Well, actually, to that point real quick, the same day that I got out of the jungle and went to Barnes & Noble's, I went over to, and this is a local reference, but Game Over Videogames, I think it's what it's called.
Game Over? And where's that? Is it on the east side? I believe
it's east side, yeah. And indie shop, so I always recommend those. And I went in, and again, I was like, oh yeah, I own everything.
Did they recognize you when you walk in? Was it like Norm from Cheers where they're like, Carlos?
No.
No? Okay.
But I, you know what I mean? Like when I go to the PlayStation 4 PS5 section, I'm like, well, I don't need to go to this section ever.
You've got everything.
I have everything on my computer, on my PlayStation. So, but like old school stuff is still there. My TurboGrafx, my weird Atari cartridges and stuff like that. But yeah, if it's new stuff, I would never go to a store for that because I already have it.
Yeah, it's funny, and this is not a brag or anything. I don't think either one of us are bragging, but it's like, with me being the editor of Game Critics and getting access to so many games, and you being the crazy gameophile that you are, it's like between the two of us, we own like every game in existence.
Yeah.
And I think the last time that I went to like a GameStop, there's one near my house, I walked in and I looked at the shelves, and it was like the store could have been divided into two sections. First section, shit I don't care about. Second section, something I already owned. And there was like nothing, and Funko Pops, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I kind of stopped going a while ago.
Hey, real quick, speaking of old time things or oldie time things, which is neither of those are terms. Danny O'Dwyer, who does No Clip on YouTube.
Yes.
He just started uploading all these old videos. Basically, like, what are those mini cassettes called? Digi 8 or whatever they are. I had some too. There's always
little like a video format.
Yeah, like VHS. Think VHS, but there's like these little mini DV tapes, and I had this too because we were both in like the game industry.
Is this like handheld camcorder territory?
Yeah. And so what we'd get a lot of those in the game press world when I worked at GameSpot, when I worked at Mevio and stuff, and they were actual, like, physical, again, back to physical.
Actual physical
cassettes.
media, yeah, cassettes.
And the quality was pretty good, but whenever back then the technology wasn't very good to encode things. So when we ripped it and stuff like that and put it up online for really bad bandwidth, it looked shitty. So he's taking all those old boxes of tapes he has and he's re-encoding them at like 1080p and stuff.
Wow.
And so go over to, it's called No Clip Game History Archive.
Interesting.
And, which is really cool for him to do. And it takes a lot of work. But he just
game
put
history
up,
is something. We should all pay more attention to game history for sure.
100%. And a lot of these things, have never been seen, like period, because they just couldn't get encoded or something. So anyway, check that out. This is a retro episode all of a sudden.
Yeah, right on. Well, speaking of Danny O'Dwyer and NoClip, that was a really good segue that I'm sure you probably didn't even plan, but he actually just released a brand new video on Vampire Survivors.
Yeah,
he did one of his, NoClip documentaries, and I just watched it. I don't make a lot of time for YouTube because I just don't have a lot of time to start with, but I do enjoy his features. I've watched a couple of his, and they're always really well done. And this one came out. It's only like 30 minutes long, so it's pretty short. But, Vampire Survivors took the world by storm like last year or whenever that was. And it was just interesting to hear the developer, who's an Italian guy, talking about where he came from and how the game came about, and then talking to his team. But it was funny because he does not want to be on camera. He is very shy and he wants his privacy, right? So he said he would do an audio interview, did not want to do a video interview. But this is YouTube, right? So what did they do? They created a puppet for him, and it was really hilarious. It was really funny.
It was really good. I saw him like pre-working on the puppet or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it worked really well, I think. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Pretty funny. What else you got, Carlos? Anything?
That's it.
All right. Let me give you folks a quick update. I want to circle back for probably the final time to Aliens Dark Descent. I know I've been banging on about it forever. I can't shut up about it. As a huge Aliens fan, I think this is a great game. And also as a huge strategy tactics fan, it's also a great game. It's a great game in many ways. Unfortunately, it is not entirely great, and that is the sad news I need to bring to the show today. So last time I talked about it last week, I was getting close to the end, and I thought I would probably have it finished by this show. And I would have, except this game is pretty buggy. I've said that before, and it hasn't really been anything super devastating. There's just been weird things. Like one time I threw an electricity grenade on an alien and it killed him, but then his top half separated from his bottom half and the top half chased me around.
Oh, that's funny.
As a corpse. Yeah, it was 1000% not what was supposed to happen, but like this floating corpse chased me through. I mean, it eventually killed me, which was weird and dumb, but anyway, lots of bugs, and usually you reload a save or you just power through. It's no big deal, but there are a couple showstoppers. One is the elevator bug, which I think I might have talked about before. I'm not going to get into that now, but the other one is a more serious one, and probably the most serious one. It's called the Pharos Spire bug. It's pretty well known. Lots of people have been hit by it, including yours truly. And what this bug is you get to the third level before the end of the game, before you roll credits. So you're like hop, skip, and a jump. You are spitting distance from the end of the game, right? Only really one major level and one teeny tiny little level, and then you're done. Roll credits. And this game is much bigger than people thought it was. It's pretty substantial. Not boring. It's been great all the way through. But you get to Pharos Spire, and what happens is there's supposed to be a cutscene that triggers when you beat the boss. And after that cutscene, it takes you into the next level. Well, the bug is that the cutscene doesn't roll. And if the cutscene doesn't roll, you don't get taken to the next level, and there's no way to select it, and you can't go there. So there's nothing you can do. You are stuck waiting at the hub of the game for something that's not coming. And that happened to lots of people, happened to me. And I can't progress. There's literally nothing you can do. I went back, I reloaded saves, I shut off the PlayStation, I deleted, reinstalled. I mean, because it's like I put so many hours in this game and I loved it. I really, really, really wanted to finish it, and I just couldn't. I talked to the developers and PR, and they're like, oh, that really sucks. And I'm like, yeah, it does suck that you guys released this with this really easy to find, easily reproducible bug. But that's it. I ended up not being able to get past it. The developers didn't have a fix. They had no ETA, no other information, which is really disappointing. I realize they're probably a smaller developer, but this is like Galaxy class bug that's easily found and should be fixed. And it's a complete showstopper. So it's a bummer they didn't fix it. Because if not for that, this game would easily have been my top 5. No problem.
Yeah.
Top 5 of the year. I would recommend it to everybody. I have been recommending it to everybody, and I feel like an asshole now because I need to say don't buy this game because it is unfinishable, which is not cool.
Well, unfinishable for some,
For
for
some, not everybody, but a much larger number than you would think are being hit by this bug. You can find it on Reddit, you can find it on Google, you can find it on Steam. Tons of people get hit by this bug. It's very, very common, way too common.
Yeah.
So bummer. And that's probably how my journey in Aliens Dark Descent ends. I just with a whimper and a tear.
Well, it's almost like a bad relationship that ends or something, or maybe a good relationship that ends, and you just like gotta remember the good times.
Oh gosh, that's really sad. Yes, you got to remember the good times. And boy, I had some really good times. If not for this bug, what a wonderful game. And it's doubly disappointing because Aliens is an IP that has been famously hard to develop for. Lots of Aliens games, very few good Aliens games. But this, I mean, honestly, I even last week said it was the best one ever made, which I stand by as long as they fix the fucking bugs. So anyway, really sad. I couldn't finish it. End of story. Deleted. Moving on with my life. One more thing for me to mention really quickly. It's not enough for me to talk about in the main portion of the show, but I did want to mention really quickly Gunsmith Simulator. Carlos, do you tinker with guns? Do you own a lot of firearms? Are you a gun guy?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
Good golly.
Me neither. But my son is really into that kind of stuff. He's like a teenager and he's going through his like war and guns and boy stuff and all that. You know, kids kind of boy kids anyway, in my experience, kind of go through a phase like that every once in a while. And he is really into like the idea of firearms and stuff. And like, okay, so that's a whole issue. We're not going to get into that. That's a whole different political thing. But he's interested in how they work and how they go together and that whole thing. So this game, Gunsmith Simulator, just came out, I want to say last week, and they sent us a copy for review. But I'm like, I'm not going to review it. I'll talk about it for a minute. Basically, it's a first-person game on PC where you get sent guns in the mail, and you have to like take them apart and fix them. They're like rusty, or they're broken, or the trigger doesn't work, or whatever. And so what happens is, you go to this like virtual workshop, and I gotta say the interface is really well done. I was watching over his shoulder because this is not for me, but I'll just check it out. You like get this gun, you explode it into its component parts, and it's really cool because on this virtual workspace there's like a blueprint, and the blueprint has a space for like every part in the gun. So when you disassemble it, like you know where to put it, and you're not mixing up your parts, and you're not missing anything. And so you look at all these different parts, and you can see like really. It feels like a documentary almost about how things work or whatever, like this trigger goes here and this spring goes here and this bolt goes here and this is how the thing moves. And so if you're at all interested in like the mechanics of it, I think it's really well done. This could easily be like a Discovery Channel documentary on firearms or something, or just seeing how it goes. And then he takes the piece into the workshop, and having been in a workshop in a work situation before, I was like, oh yeah, this is totally what it looks like. Not a gun workshop, like another industrial workshop, but they had like a sandblaster, and they had like the chemical dip, and they had some kind of like metal polishing, which I've been around before. So I'm like, oh yeah, this all looks like legit. This looks like real. And he was like sandblasting the pieces and putting the gun back together. And then you can take it out and like practice it on the range and shoot it around and stuff. I mean, if you like guns and stuff, I think this is really cool, and it's a different approach than the normal just shoot them up and kill a bunch of people. I don't think there's any combat at all in this game. I think it's just working on the mechanics, fixing it, seeing how it works, the design wise. You can modify things and then take it to the range and see how it functions. So I think there's a lot of education there. It's not going to be something for you if you're not a gun person, but if you're interested in that kind of a thing, or a simulator that is not at all the norm. And I was actually pretty fascinated watching him do it, even though I have like zero interest in guns. But it was just really well done. And I think if you have any interest at all, you should check it out.
All right, cool. I will not. But it does. I'm getting Power Wash vibes because there's a lot of like simulator games now where it's like, this is what it feels like if you do this in real life. And we did a very accurate job of it. And you're like, good job. I think it is for some people. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also, just a quick mention, there's also like an economic part to it. I think there's a campaign where you need to like make enough money, you got to buy parts, you got to buy stuff for your sandblasting machine or whatever. So there's like an economic sim management too about that whole thing. And so I'm not going to get into the politics of like buying and selling guns or whatever. Just looking at it from this like clinical perspective. I think it's a really well done thing. It looks cool. It looks great. Like it's all easy to manipulate and manage, and it's just a well-produced game that I think is a very niche population. But if you're in that niche, I think you're going to be pretty well served.
All right,
there you go. Gunsmith Simulator. All right, moving on to the main portion of the show. We've got a lot to get through here. Let's kick it off with you, Carlos. Dragon Quest Treasures, and I have to say I am very embarrassed because I feel like I usually do a pretty good job of keeping up on games, and this one, just for whatever reason, 1,000,000,000% not on my radar. I don't even know what kind of game this is, what platform it's on. I'm a little bit surprised because Dragon Quest is huge, and I don't know how it happened, but like I didn't even know this one existed. So tell us about Dragon Quest Treasures.
Yeah, the only reason I know is because, and what's funny is why you should know and feel even more embarrassed is because it was a Switch exclusive for a while, and you are Mr. Switch.
Really? God, I don't remember this at all, dude.
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't on any platform, including the other bigger consoles, and so all of a sudden I saw some tweet or something on social that said, "Hey, Dragon Quest Treasures, it just got like stealth dropped on Steam." Like literally, they didn't do any run up for it. They just said it's now available. So I went over there and I was hungry for a JRPG like I always am, and just picked it up. And so what this game is very casual, kind of like the idea of you collect some monsters and a short campaign JRPG with those kind of cartoony graphics that Dragon Quest normally has. It feels like Dragon Quest 11. If you played that, you did, right?
Me, no. I don't play any of the Dragon Quest games.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I am not a Dragon Quest fan.
I know. That's insane, though, because that is an incredible game. Anyways, it's that same style art, third person, same kind of combat, action RPG, jump around. And basically you play as two kids, Eric and Mia, and you start off the game like on the ship, and you basically both want to go out in the real world and do treasure hunting. That's your whole thing. And so the idea is that you get to an area without spoiling it. It's not much to spoil, but
you get to an area. No, don't tell me I get to an area.
You get to an area. So that's it.
No, I didn't want to know that.
Yep. And you go to kind of create a hub and go out and collect treasure. Treasure hunters, treasure. And the idea is that you also collect monsters. So it's a little monster-y.
Like Pokemon-y kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of that way. You bring monsters out with you in the field to go fight. Not turn-based, remember, just all real-time action.
Okay.
And it's just relaxing. Like, I haven't played enough of it to talk about it a lot. That's why it's at the top of the show. It came out of nowhere for me. For you, again, I don't know if it's your style of game.
It's still in nowhere for me. I had no idea about it.
Yeah. But it's like, it's just relaxing. I just needed something. We'll talk about Diablo later. I'm playing a bunch of other kind of games that are pretty hardcore, let's call them. Mm-hmm. And so this is just like, you need that kind of opposite side sometimes. So I recommend it if you want a chill time that feels like Dragon Quest, but isn't quite. I heard it's like a 30-hour campaign, so
that's a pretty sizable campaign.
Kind of in between, yeah. And some people say it missed an opportunity to make a better story, but I really didn't go there for the story. It just went there for like an interesting little, distraction.
Gotcha.
And I think that's what it is. Like, it's just relaxing. I like the graphics. By the way, I'm playing on Steam. My computer isn't the best computer in the world, and smooth 60 frames per second, really fun and relaxing, and and it's all about getting new treasure, which I love. Loot, it's a loot game, and finding new monsters.
Okay, Dragon Quest Treasures.
Check it out.
Check it out.
It's literally like it came out of nowhere, maybe for some people, including Brad.
Yep.
But it's just relaxing. I don't think it's a game for you, but anybody who likes Dragon Quest in general or 11, you'll like this.
Okay, right on. There we go. I have a bunch of stuff to talk about, but before we do, let's keep it with you for just a second here, Carlos. Now, you were going to bring some VR stuff to the table, is that correct?
Yeah, so my thing at the end of the show, we talk about shows and movies we watched. One of the things I watched was Ready Player One.
And you had never seen it before?
No, and I think I told you on text, the reason why is because when I first went to go watch it or something, on streaming, not in a theater, I was so tired of CG.
Yeah.
Which I still am. And so I just stopped it because I knew most of this movie is going to be CG.
All the movie, like 98% of it, yeah.
Well, weirdly enough, now that I've watched it, I don't know when you've seen it last, but it isn't 98% of it. It's actually like 70. Well, what I'm saying, there's a lot more real world stuff, especially at the end. that happens in the real world. Like there's a lot of good acting from real actors, not just CG.
Right.
And I was surprised by that because there's a lot of, again, real world stuff. But yeah, so in the beginning, I didn't want to do that. So now I gave it a fair shake. And man, it's really fucking good.
I am so stunned that you never got through this. I thought this was like Carlos the movie. I thought this would be your jam. And when you told me you hadn't watched it, I'm like, wait a minute, did I read that right?
Yeah.
Can you understand my question? Because I'm sure he's seen this before. Like, I was so surprised, dude.
Well, I finally did finish it. I do like, without spoiling it, the shining part is really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, again, I still don't think it's like the best thing in the world. It's not like Carlos the movie. I think it's pretty good, but I just liked it more than I thought it would. So that's a long-winded introduction into, I was like, I need to get back into VR because I do like being in another place and I like my Oculus Quest 2. So I booted it up and I looked immediately for, of course, RPGs. It's hard. It's hard to find a good, true, like Skyrim type VR game. But I looked and I played Darksword. So Darksword is a VR game, which basically is there's a hub, kind of actually like Dragon Quest Treasures. And in the hub, you upgrade and do all that kind of stuff. And then you go to this kind of circle realm area and you just fight monsters. So kind of a roguelike in that way.
Okay. It's just like pure combat. Like there's not
just
much
pure
like
combat. Yeah. And
exploration
collecting shit, you know.
Okay.
So when you fight monsters off, you get like random stuff that drop. And what the difference is when you're in VR, that can just be enough because it's already fully immersive.
Right.
But I do want, and I'm still looking for that game that's like the open world where I can just go do a bunch of shit. We'll report it back on that next week or when I'm on the show next. But this one, yeah, it's just like, it's relaxing. It's a kind of like you go in and fight monsters. But I thought it was funny, and I brought it to show because they first start you off with a bow and arrow, and I was just eating shit. I was like just dying all the time. I was like, oh, this is not fun. And then I realized that I could just hold the right-hand trigger, and a sword appeared. And as soon as I got the sword, I was like, oh, let's do this. And I just realized that, I don't know, like the jungle taught me, I might be like good at melee in real life.
Oh, snap. We need to find out. We got to find this out. We should
go
do
to
like local gym or something.
Carlos becomes a melee warrior or something, IRL, as a segment, and we'll film it for the podcast.
We could bring like new weapons every week to the show.
I mean, I would film that because, I was just standing in my room swinging my hand around. But the minute I got to melee, I was owning that game. It's like all the things I learned in the video games and just hitting like, you know, box and X and circle. Yes, I say box. You know, that translated to my arms. And I was like doing combos. And what's weird is that the dodge, you know, there's that kind of move analog stick where you're going kind of one for one walking around, which is kind of dizzying. Or there's the quick kind of running, where you kind of like, I don't know what they call that, but like you kind of go to hot spots and you kind of quickly
like the teleporting
jump
between the hot spots or whatever. Yeah.
So they have one that's like a quick dodge, and I'm like, I am Mr. Dodge Roll. So my right analog stick, because I have two hands, two controllers in them, you know. Well, I'm trying to explain. I'm using both.
No,
controllers.
I mean some people don't have two hands, dude. I mean that's a real situation. So you do have two hands.
Using two controllers, and then the right hand, they both have analogs. And so the right-hand analog does the quick dodge. So I was actually like, again, feeling like I really understood the space. And I was just like dodging those fools and doing combos. And it felt really good. So
is the sword one-to-one movement, like whatever your hand does, the sword actually does? Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
The only thing that wasn't was that dodge, right? That dodge is doing a quick thing. And so I'm not going to dodge around the room one for one like that.
No, that I would pay money to see that, though. That would be pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm sure that that's already happening and that will be the next stage, you know? So I'll probably do that too. But I just felt really good at doing that. And then when I got back to the hub, there was like a little, you know, creature, like a cat creature or something. And that was like, he was like, oh, I have the little upgrades for you. And then I went over to the actual like armory. And this was interesting. When I had to upgrade my weapon, I selected a button. But then they were like, okay, pick up the hammer and do it, dude. And I was like, oh, I actually have to hammer the sword. to make it better.
Oh, you mean you blacksmith your own sword
Yeah.
to level it up? You
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Oh,
And I was like, that's cool. You know, that made
That's
me
funny.
feel like I was actually going back to do something.
nice. Did it actually take you like 3 hours to do? And was there danger of getting burned?
No, none of that.
Oh, okay.
It was like 6 hits. But, you know, you watch the little meter go up, and I felt
Sure.
like, okay, now I'm going back with my sword that I just, you know, made.
All right.
I don't know. I just think that VR has such really cool immersive moments like that we're getting there, you know. We're not at Ready Player One, obviously, but we're getting there. And I think for some people, it could be really fun.
All right, right on. And that was called
Darksword, and there's
Darksword.
something else after it. I forgot. But
Darksword. This sword is really
it's on
bad.
Oculus store, and there's
Uh-huh.
like 8 RPGs right now, you know what I mean? So
You'll
Darksword.
find it pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. There we go. Let me talk for a minute here about non-VR games. A lot of my stuff this week has been on, not all of it, but some of it's been on Switch. Let me first talk about Rain World Downpour. And ironically, this is one I played on PS5. Rain World has been around, I want to say, for a long time. I feel like at least like 5 years. Have you seen or heard of, or do you know about Rain World, Carlos?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. 2017
Jeez. Okay, wow.
is when
even,
this came out.
Even longer than I thought.
And
remember
I
seeing
played
this
it
game.
back then, too.
Yeah, I did too. I remember seeing this game a long time ago, and it just came out with a new updated version for console. It's on Switch, it's on Xbox, it's on PlayStation 5. I played it on PlayStation, code from the developer. And they have a bunch of new DLC that comes with it too, the Downpour DLC. So I remember playing this back in the day and being really fascinated by it. What it is, it's a 2D pixel-based indie game where you play as a slug cat, which looks like, I mean, neither a slug nor a cat. You're kind of like a long weasel type animal, pretty cylindrical. And this is 2D, kind of like side view. You can crawl around. It seems like there's some physics involved in how you grab things and how you move around. Lots of pipes you need to like wiggle through. You're climbing ledges. You're jumping on things. So it's kind of like a platformer, sort of, but not really. Like you're just kind of navigating. You're not really platforming with strength. You know, you're kind of just climbing around stuff.
Yeah, and you know what it reminds me of? A
What's
ferret.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like those little long, thin things that kind of freak you out.
Yeah, that's dead on. I think you're exactly right. You look like a longish ferret sort of a
Yeah.
thing, more than a cat or a slug. So I'm not sure why they call you a slug cat. But anyway, yeah. So imagine a ferret that has like grabby hands and can do little jumping and stuff, which I guess is a real ferret in real life. So
Yeah.
anyway, so this is one of those indie games that I was always interested in, and I've tried it a couple times in the past, and I kind of bounced off it. But I heard that they did a lot of fixes, a lot of accessibility stuff, a lot of new content, and it's been a while. I didn't realize it was 2017, so that's even longer than I thought. So I gave it a shot, and I have to say I bounced off it again like almost immediately.
Oh.
I really want to get into this because I think graphically it's really strong. I think the ruined cityscapes, the rain, the way that your animal moves, the pipes and stuff, like just looking at it, I think the pixel work is really strong, really well done. It's just a very visually appealing title, and you kind of want to know more about it when you're looking at it. But when you play the game, it's one of those indie games that I find to be the worst kind of indie game. And I don't mean to insult anybody personally. I'm just speaking about, there's a certain type of indie game where the person developing it knows everything about the game and they don't tell you anything, and they think that discovering is part of the fun. Now, maybe that's true for some people. I'm sure it is. But for people like me, or like me specifically, I like to know a little bit more about the game. What are the things my character can do? What is the point of the game? What are the rules of the game? Why am I here, and what am I doing? The game tells you none of those things.
Yeah.
I think there's a little, I don't even want to call it a tutorial because it's not even a tutorial. In fact, I thought it was an enemy at first, but it's actually, they're trying to give you hints, and I tried to kill it because it looked like a monster, but it's actually this thing trying to tell you
Trying
stuff.
to help you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just very strange. So basically what I gather is that you're in this place and you need to walk around and eat moths. You can kind of try to catch moths if you can. Those go into your life bar. Every once in a while it rains, and it rains like fuck. Like it's like the craziest rain you've ever seen, and it's lethal rain. And so before it rains, you need to get into a safe chamber. And I didn't find very many of them, and they were really far apart. So I died a lot in this game. And when you die, you just go back I don't know if it's a roguelike exactly, but you get sent back and like all your stuff is undone. You have to do it all again, which is a huge bummer.
Yeah,
especially when you don't know the rules of the game, right?
Exactly. And what you just said is, I remember when I played it the first time, I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I felt confused. And like you said, the lack of tutorial. And then I was dying. And I was like, that's the worst combo.
It totally is, dude, because there's there's lots of monsters too, and they are like snake-like as well. They'll chase you through the tubes and stuff. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, where am I trying to get to? What is my goal? I don't know where the safe room is, or like I'll wander around and the safe room is way far away and then it starts to rain and I can't get back there in time. And I just don't even know what even is the point of it all. And I get that there's probably a whole story and there's maybe there's logic to it, I'm sure. But this is one of those games where the developer's like, here, figure it out. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. Like, I need a little bit more of a leg into this game. Additionally, it does not feel good to play. It feels terrible to play. The physics, I hate the physics where your dude is always falling off of stuff. He can kind of jump a little bit, but it's like hold the button down and kind of push a direction, and he sort of half hops over a little bit, but then you fall and you miss it. And sometimes you're supposed to grab these ledges or these wires, and sometimes you grab them, sometimes you don't. And it does not feel good. Like, it feels like you were fighting the controls the entire time. So fighting the controls, plus it's really lethal between the monsters and the rain. Plus you don't even know what the object of what you're doing is. Plus you don't even know what abilities you have. It just is a very unwelcoming proposition. And I'm sure that there's probably 80,000 Reddit pages of people who have clicked with this game and have discovered its secrets. You know, I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but I am not that kind of person, and I don't have that kind of time in my life to where I want to sit here for an hour trying to figure out what's going on and then get sent back every time I die and have to redo that whole thing again. It was an exercise in frustration. And despite how cool it looks, I think it looks like amazing. I love the way it looks. It is just like 100% not my jam and not fun to play. And I bounced pretty quickly off it.
All right. Well, I guess the redo didn't redo anything.
No, and I checked into the remix stuff. There's a couple different characters, and I picked the easiest character, and it was way too hard from what I could tell. And there's a few other settings. There's a couple modes. It looks like a lot of this stuff is fan created stuff that the developer incorporated into the game. So if that's correct, that's really cool. This is one of the games I'm sure has a very dedicated community that loves this game like nothing else.
Yeah.
But you got to get there, and I couldn't get there.
It's just like we say all the time. There's either shows or movies or games that people just don't get, or it's not for them.
Yeah.
And if it's not for them the first time, it might not be for them in the second time.
Yeah, I was hoping, dude. I was really trying to give it a shot, but just, nah, it's not going to work. So, Rain World Downpour. If you like Rain World, here's a great version of it. There's more content, but this is 100% not for me. Okay, what is for me, though, is an interesting little game that came out of nowhere called Cramped Room of Death. You heard of this one, Carlos?
I haven't.
Brand new. It's on the Switch. I think it's also on PC. This is a really funny one. Very straightforward, top-down 2D puzzle game where you are a character who has a spear and you're in this dungeon. And I mean, I don't even know what the story is. The story is like you're in a dungeon, survive, or like what? Who cares? The story means literally fuck all, nothing at all. But what's good about it is the puzzle concept. So you have this spear. So the game is grid based. Your character is the size of one grid square. Your spear sticks out in front of you the size of one grid square. So you're like basically the size of a rectangle, right? And you're looking top down. When you go into these rooms, every room is like a really small room, and the hallways are really narrow. So when you turn to go a certain way, you're whacking your spear on the wall, and you can't turn that way. Or like you try to see an enemy and you go after him, but the spear is too long. And you like whack into the other wall, and you can't turn because the spear is too long, and you're stuck, right? And so the whole game is about navigating your spear and yourself, up and down and left. You try to, like parallel parking. This is like parallel parking the game, but you got a spear. You know what I'm saying? Where like,
yeah.
You got to like back in and then turn a little bit and then back in again and then turn the other way. And I'm too far from the curb and this is not going to work. Just imagine doing that with like a spear in a dungeon. And that's exactly what this game is.
I'm so out. I can't even tell you how quickly I'm out right now. I'm getting Boxy Boy vibes.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. But I actually really like this game a lot. I think it's really, really well done. I think it's easy to understand. I think the rules of the game are very easy to understand. They're very straightforward. And it's interesting because there's almost no tutorialization. It's just in the levels themselves. They very smartly, like the first level is really easy, but you can see how your spear gets caught up on things. You're like, oh, okay, I got it. I got to watch out for corners. Got to watch out for left turns. I get it. And then they just slowly build on there, like different enemy types that have predictable movements, different building types. Like there'll be a pit that you can stand out for one beat, but not 2 beats. Or there'll be like a block that falls and you know when it's going to fall, or there's spikes, but you know when they're coming. It's all extremely predictable. There's no surprises. There's no gotcha at all. There's no guesswork involved. It's all pure logic. And I think all the puzzles are pretty small. They're all really bite-sized. You can get through a puzzle. I mean, if you're awake and you've had a cup of coffee, you get through a puzzle in like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. If you played at nighttime in bed, like I do, maybe don't do that, because every time I've gotten stuck in bed, I go, okay, I'm too tired. I turn it off. I come back to it the next day and I beat it like the very first time because I'm more awake, right? So you got to be sharp. You got to be paying attention. But I really like the concept. I think it's an incredibly funny concept of like this long spear that you just keep whacking on things and it's just really difficult to get through. Everything is narrow. It's funny. The rules are great. The puzzles are great. It's bite-sized. There's tons of them. There's also routes in each dungeon. So if you get to a puzzle that you don't like, you can go back and go a different way so you're not permanently stuck, which is great because I have gotten stuck a few times. And there's also a system which, to be honest, I haven't really leveraged, but I believe you earn points to buy keys to get you past rooms that you just don't want to do. So you can, if you have enough money, you can buy a key, get through that room, get to the next room, and just move on so you're not stuck. So I appreciate that the developers give you a couple ways to get you unstuck if you're stuck, but also it's a very specific kind of a logic puzzle, but I think it's very polished, very focused, very well done. And I'm really having a lot of fun with it. I'm about more than halfway through, and I just do a couple puzzles a night. And I just think it's really, really fun. Really, really a great example of a very specific idea executed well with cute graphics and good presentation. And it just does what it wants to do and just does it.
Cool.
I dig it.
Check it out, puzzle people. And also the story was brave adventurer Lance loved to party. But one night he ate too much and fell into a deep sleep. Which, by the way, does partying mean eating a lot? I don't know.
I guess it does on the Switch.
The vile Vizardians then stole his treasure and even took all of his weapons, leaving him only his giant spear. Lance entered the catacombs of death to confront the thieves and recover his lost possessions. That's the story.
There you go. Like I said, story doesn't matter. Forget that story.
Partying too hard equals eating too much.
I guess. But Cramped Room of Death, I think it's a blast. I think it's really fun if you want a different kind of puzzle game. It's a great fit for the Switch. Thumbs up for me. Definitely recommend it. I like it a lot. So there you go. Definitely check that one out. Over to you, Carlos, for a circle back to Diablo 4. Still playing that? How's that going for you?
Oh, we're not going to talk about Killsquad?
Well, I'm going to have that at the very end.
Oh, that's the very end. Okay.
It's coming up.
I spoiled the ending.
Oh, no.
I'll see myself out.
It's fine.
I've been in the jungles too long. I don't know how podcasts work. Diablo, I just want to circle back. There's like 8,000 things I could say. I have very, very scribbly notes, so we'll see what this does. I'm just going to improv it and what I talk about. But in general, let's see how I can talk about this. There's so much to say. Right before the seasons came out, so I've been playing Diablo 4, beat the campaign, 170 hours or something into this game. It's been my main game.
Dang, okay.
I have, my main character is like 75 or something, level 75, world tier 4, have beat everything on the map, and just kind of like going through and doing side missions and just having a relaxing time playing the game now that I'm like, high level. And the end game content for Diablo 4 is a problem because it's basically boring. Unless you're doing side missions, it's just doing the same kind of dungeons to get XP, and that's not really fun. But for me, even in the late game, I've been having fun just doing side missions because they're not talked about enough, but some of them are really good, really fun little stories. One guy stole the sign to one of the bars because he was mad or something. I had to go find him, and then I opened up a whole other story came out of that. It's just these kind of quaint little interesting stories. So anyways, doing that, and then right before the season start, which the season's going right now, season 1, which allows you and makes you reset, right? So you have to make a new character, Which I don't know. Did you ever do that for Diablo 3?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
I think I might have once and then got mad that I had to keep making new characters.
But you can keep your old character, right? Like
You
if you don't
can.
want to do the season, you
Yeah.
can just keep your main guy.
My level 70 something just hangs out in the eternal realm, kind of just always there. I can still, load it up and play it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the DLC, unless it's like, I think 3 did Reaper of Souls and did actual DLC for those eternal realm characters. But, that's few and far between. What they really work on is the seasonal content. So that seasonal content is new shit, like story stuff, but it's also the battle pass, and it's also like do a bunch of these things, like 10 dungeons, and checklists, right? Which I don't like. I don't think either of us are a fan of those kind of checklists.
Not really, no.
Yeah. So, but at the same time, they give you new mechanics. And so the mechanics for this one is these things called caged hearts. The idea is there's this huge malignant overgrowths and monsters on the land now. And while you have to defeat them, you also get new pieces of them, which make you stronger. That's the whole thing. Okay. But there's like an interesting little story beats that you get when you have finished a bunch of the kind of chapters. And those story beats, again, to me are kind of interesting. And it's just few and far between to get to them. So, okay, so that's the season. Everyone's kind of excited for it. I had played 170 hours. I'm excited as well. And even though you have to make a new character, I thought it might be fun to try something different. And right before they do a patch, and I don't know if you heard about this, it's the patch heard around the world or whatever.
Is this the thing about how they nerfed the wizard or whatever? Or is
Yeah,
that
they
something
nerfed
different?
everything.
Okay.
They basically like reset the game because they realized that people were just like doing crazy damage and just, one-shotting bosses and stuff. And they had figured out a way to like game the system, min-max, right? So they were trying to do a hard reset, essentially, which wasn't fun because even my like level 70 character felt more, they call it squishy. It felt more like I could die more.
Right.
And like immediately. And I was like, wow, that is like really harsh nerfs. So that was huge and everyone got really mad. But what I want to say is really cool that the devs had like an immediate like emergency fireside chat stream.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, yeah, we fucked up, bro. Yeah, like we won't ever do that again. That was like their first thing they said. They're like, we won't ever do what we just did again. I'm sorry. And that's like cool.
Interesting.
Like I like that they owned up immediately. And then they said why, which is all the things I just said. They were just trying to rebalance because when the season comes out and a lot of people are started at level 0, going to level 1 or whatever, they want it to be more realistic with the balancing. So, okay, so that's that whole thing. And then I actually did start the season. I'm like level 30 now. And it was just really fun. Like whatever they did balancing, for my experience, it was the right thing. Like it's like the character before that, yeah, we had done some crazy shit because it was like a free-for-all, right? There's like no season, there's no balancing. It was like we're just like fucking around with this game for 170 hours. I see why that, they kind of had to rein things in. And so, but my point is, I played the season from the get-go, everything felt good. Like I wasn't dying a bunch. I didn't feel squishy. I was a barbarian again. And I just felt like, it just felt really good and fun.
Are you doing like the same campaign again or like what?
Yeah,
what
so
is that
you don't
like?
have to in seasons. As long as you beat it at some point, you just skip it when you start a season. So I skipped it. I did pick another barbarian because I wanted to see the differences, like how the cage charts, they're called, like affected the build. Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm really in the weeds on Diablo right now.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people are also playing Diablo, so I think that's okay. But I guess for me, on the outside, like you played a barbarian, you beat the game, you start seasons, you're coming back in. So if you skip the campaign, then what are you playing?
So I'm playing to be in this new world where like in the seasonal world, which you can only play as a seasonal character that you made, there are overgrowths. Like I said, it's called the malignancy or whatever, or the malignant. And so there's like different monsters on the land now, right? It's like a reskin in a way. And there's also different dungeons with these monsters in them.
Okay, so they've created some brand new content. You're
Yeah,
not just replaying the campaign again.
Right. You're not even touching the campaign, right?
Okay, gotcha.
But then you have this other mini campaign that's happening, which is this guy is trying to help destroy all this gross stuff, right? And you're going to try to help him do that. And so, but the thing is, and like I said in one of my reviews, is like, I think I did this on YouTube, is that there's just those story beats are so few and far between because they want you to like grind a battle pass thing. That part's stupid. Like, I don't want to do that, you know. I just want the story. But it is a way to get essentially DLC for this game that you really like. And one of the last things I'll say is that this game has one of the greatest dopamine rushes ever. Like, just doing the combat, specifically me with the barbarian, like I dodge, I have a PS5 controller. I'm playing on PS5, so I get that vibration back when I hit really hard, and I just feel really good. You know, I'm playing a bleed barbarian, which means like I can hit enemies and just like leave, and then they just like die on their own.
Damage over time,
and it's like it's just fun to play. So like as soon as we're done with this podcast, I'll play for a second because it's like it's just you get this rush from it, and it feels really good. So I love this fucking game. The patch did suck. I like that the devs came on and said, "Hey, we fucked up. We won't do that again." And they by the way, they already did a hot fix, which just rolled out immediately, and they were like rebalance some stuff. I just think that they have built a really cool thing, and the battle pass stuff is stupid. You don't need to use it because it's all cosmetic. And I still stand by this game. It's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Interesting. It's funny that you talk so much about Diablo 4 because I bought it. You know, you sold it to me, and I succumbed to the hype, and everybody in the world was talking about it, and it just didn't click with me. But what it has made me want to do is go back to Diablo 3. Actually, I'm like, I don't think I ever finished Diablo 3. I should go back and finish that. And I was like, maybe I'll come back to that instead. So,
yeah, I think there's like two camps. It's like, it's like there's multiple camps actually. Because one thing I wanted to bring up, I wrote down on my notes. Everybody calls it an ARPG. I'm making a lot of sketches on TikTok about it, and ARPG means action RPG. So I don't know why they're like co-opting the word because Path of Exile, PoE, Diablo, some of these games that are always online, and also I
don't think these are ARPGs at all. That's not what I call them.
But that's what they're calling them, and
I think that's wrong.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think it is too because an ARPG is just anything. Like Dragon Quest Treasures is an ARPG, and that's not like this game at all, and it's not always online. So there should be a different word for that. So that's a note.
I mean, I think honestly they're just called Diablo likes is what I call them because it's such a specific thing, and Diablo pioneered it so hard, and everybody's kind of just followed that same template really. I just don't. You know, it's like Metroidvania. You say Metroidvania, you know what you're talking about. It's like a Diablo like. That's what it is. It's not an action RPG. There is not enough RPG in these types of games, whether it's not Diablo 4 specifically, but in all these, it's like, you get a little cutscene or something and it's fine. But like, it's not what I would call like RPG level stuff. So I do not put ARPG on these.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny that everybody uses it. Diablo-like, almost like Souls-like, the one that you coined, right?
Yeah, exactly. Almost coined. It came very close, yes.
But I will say this is why I like it. So the dopamine rush, the idea of just, going in and fighting monsters, getting stuff, finding loot, it's just fun. It just works. But the other thing is that, I said this in sketches I'd made, but like a lot of people on YouTube are like, okay, boys, here's how we're going to run this dungeon. Get max XP. You can get at least thousands of XP per minute in this one dungeon. Then you finish it and you reset it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That style.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play that game for this reason. I want to play it because it's like a cool world. And there are actually pretty interesting side stories. But I just think it's funny that a lot of people are playing it for just that. And then they'll get mad at things because they're, focusing on the XP stuff of it, right?
Kind of reminds me of like Fortnite whenever they change anything or they introduce a new element where if you're just goofing, it's usually fun. Like, for example, when they introduced those mech suits a couple seasons back that took two people to drive, I'm like, oh, these are fun as hell. I'm going to make it ride around a mech suit. This is fun. And all I could hear from the pros was like fucking whining and tears about, these are so broken and it breaks the meta. And I'm like,
the
fuck
meta,
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I guess if you do Fortnite for a fucking job, you're bothered that something changed. But for every other person, for the 99% of Earth that isn't doing this for a job, it was really fun and neat. And, just changing things bothers a certain amount of people. But you can't not change things because otherwise you stagnate and die. So
yeah. I just think that there's another group of people that would really enjoy this game. Also, let me finish the thought. And so, like, don't listen to all the YouTube videos is all I'm saying. Like, where they're saying,
yeah.
do a nightmare dungeon over and over again to level, or just play the game, just like
Right.
walk around this weird world and fight monsters and have fun. The other thing I'll say is that the thing I hate, my last soapbox, is that a lot of people on the YouTube and a lot of these people talking about Diablo call some people who play it just a little bit and don't run nightmare dungeons casuals.
Oh,
And I'm
geez.
so sick of that term, especially they'll say like gamer dads too.
Right.
And I'm not, I don't have any kids. All right.
That
Okay.
you know of.
That I know of. You're right. But I'm not a gamer dad. I'm also not a casual because I play obsessively amounts of games. That's the opposite of casual. But yeah, I would be considered a casual in some of these, people's eyes.
Whatever.
So we have to get rid of all that terminology, just burn it to the ground because it's absolute garbage. People play games.
Doesn't serve any purpose. Why are you even bringing it up? You just trying to hurt somebody's feelings or something? Like, what's even the point of that?
Well, they bring it up to, it's actually crazy because it has value, which is bad value, where like they'll use that in like their arguments to the devs. Like, oh, we want this because we're playing it, we're like the 1% or whatever. And then these casuals come in and then they change all the rules or whatever.
Right.
Like they make the devs go to the devs are working towards what the casuals want. No, how about just what gamers want? People who play video games.
Well, that's dangerous because that happens in every game. Like any game that has a dedicated fan base, there's always like this contingent of people who put their whole lives, their entire life is poured into this game. And they're the people who like get mad about single frame changes or people who, 1 point of damage has changed and they get really mad about it. And they play it so much and they're just in that world so much that they feel like they own it or they want things specifically to them. But that's death. That's killing your game because once you start catering towards those hardcore people, you're excluding everybody else. Like we saw it with Souls, where that little contingent of people who wanted it harder and harder and harder, and the bosses got harder and harder, and From kept making the games harder because they kept listening to that little vocal minority. Well, they turned off everybody else, and that's why they reset with Elden Ring to open it up, give the options back, make things more approachable to different people, and it was a huge success, right? And same thing with any game. Street Fighter did the same thing with Street Fighter. What is it? What is that? The most recent one? 6?
6, yeah.
6, where they gave you the new updated control mode, which the purists are screaming about. But if you are not a hardcore pro gamer, you're like, oh, this is great. I love it. I loved it too. So it's like you can't design your game for your extreme 1% because those people are going to play regardless, and what they want is not what everybody else wants, and it's death to do that.
And I want to say I agree, but I also want to say like in defense of, it's not defense, but like just bringing up the fact that a lot of YouTubers have their livelihood literally attached to making videos around these games. So I get that, but also you don't have to. You can still do your content, is what I'm saying.
You don't have to do the hardcore stuff. You can do more general stuff or whatever.
You can do more general stuff, but also you can do your hardcore stuff. It's just not talk shit about the other stuff. That's all.
Sure.
It's just literally the talking shit part that I can't stand. So like, again, please don't do that. It's stupid. And also, Diablo 4 sold a gajillion copies, right?
Yeah.
So obviously that was, I mean, if you want to stay in business, although Blizzard has more money than anything, but if you want to stay in business and keep your game alive, more people playing it is good, I guess, right?
Gotta be. Of course it is. Yeah, for sure.
But anywho, long story short, I love the game. I'm still playing it. I just wish the chapters were shorter so I could get more story beats, but it doesn't matter. I really like the season.
All right, there you go. Carlos likes the season, and I'll probably be coming back to Diablo 3.
Yes.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in a future show. All right, let me talk for a minute about a new game. I don't know if you've heard of this one. You probably have heard of this, maybe not. It's called Lisa, in capital letters, Lisa.
Yes,
do you know about this game?
I played it a long time ago. I played it on Steam.
Yeah, I
saw it pop up, and I was like, wait, am I going to buy this? Because this is right up my alley. But I was like, oh, yeah, I played it already.
Okay, good. I'm glad you played it already because I had not heard of this. I didn't know about it, but I did a little research, and it was really interesting. Publisher sent me a code, so thank you very much for that. There is now Lisa, the definitive edition, which comes with 2 games. The first one is called Lisa the Painful, and the second one is called Lisa the Joyful. It's a 2D like RPG maker game or like game maker game. Like it's one of those engines that anybody can pick up and make their own game with. So it's pretty basic from that perspective. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic future where women have been wiped off the face of the earth by some kind of event. I don't know if it was a virus or what happened, but basically the whole earth is just pure men, which to me sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yes.
I do not want to, I would do anything to avoid that future. But then the main character, whose name is Brad, ironically, he finds a baby, and it's a baby girl, and he raises the baby girl in secret because he knows men and a world full of men, and you have one girl, that's not going to be good. But then she gets like kidnapped at some point, and he goes on a quest to go and get her back. So interesting premise, kind of dark, kind of weird, offbeat a little bit. But it is 2D side view, pretty basic graphics. And it's kind of like an RPG, kind of like an action game. It's really strange. And to be perfectly honest, I'm really curious if you remember enough about this game, Carlos, because I don't even know what to even do with this game. It's one of those strange RPGs where it feels a little bit like Earthbound in some ways, but not in other ways, where it feels like anything can happen, where there's not a traditional difficulty curve. There's not traditional quests. You're kind of just wandering around trying to make things happen. And like, for example, I was in one level walking through, there's a guy that you can like, avoid or you can fight. So I like the option to sometimes avoid, sometimes fight, but then there's these caves, and because it's on a 2D plane, they don't have like a 3D map, and there's no way to kind of keep track of where you're at. So like one cave goes to the next part of the game that you're supposed to go to. One part of the cave, or the next part of the cave, is dark. And if you go in there, they're like, don't come in here. And I'm like, well, are you serious, or am I supposed to come in here? No, they don't want you to come in there because you get killed with these super powerful monsters in the dark. Then the third part takes you to this field where there's poisonous snakes, and you're not ready to fight the snakes. And so I'm like, getting all these options right off the bat was like, I was kind of confused about where to go and what to do. And I'm not sure how to progress. There's also some interesting verticality elements in this where it seems like they play a lot with height, where you can survive a little bit of a drop, but you can't survive a big drop, and your guy can't jump. So you're often trying to like look for ways to like get above something and then drop down on it, which is, I guess, okay. I wasn't like in love with it, but that was fine. But the real draw to this game is the story. The writing is just so bizarre and really offbeat, unpredictable, and random. People are named random things. You fight people for random reasons. And it's all generally like pretty nihilistic and pretty like black and negative, just really
it's
dark.
A downer. I mean, literally the title, the caption for the game says, "The Miserable Journey of a Broken Man."
Accurate. Very accurate. Yeah, it feels very accurate. It feels like a little bit like the concept of The Last of Us, except for instead of being happy and joyful like that game is, it's 10 times more dark, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I struggled with it because, and honestly, the thing that I struggled the most with it is the save points are few and far between, and you can die easily. Like you can unexpectedly die. Like a snake can kill you, or like you get bum rushed by like 5 guys at once, or like anything can happen. Like I couldn't find a difficulty curve going on here. It just seemed like random events. And so I died a lot, and getting sent back to the last far away save point was a bummer. Just did not care for that. And I got to say the combat did not work for me. It's a weird kind of a first person combat sort of, where like it's like a Dragon Quest, like old school kind of RPG combat. You see a guy and it'll say like, oh, Buff Berry approaches or something, and you fight him, and your guy kind of like has combo punches, and like depending on what button you push, it's like a martial arts combo. But I was getting my ass like handed to me left and right. Like I did not feel strong at all. I felt really weak.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure like how to level up. It's one of those weird, really random indie games that, again, kind of like Rain World, I feel like is definitely not for everyone. And I'm sure there's a core of people who really like it. But for me, I was like, everything about this game was just not pleasant. And I guess that's probably the point of it. But I just didn't even know what to make of it, man.
Yeah, I'll say this. A lot of what you said is spot on. And the combat is definitely Earthbound. Like that's just straight up feels like
for
Earthbound.
Sure. Yeah.
And I remember eating shit too in fighting and not liking that. Like you can have a downer of a story, but if I'm just like dying because I can't play the game well, that's not great.
Yeah.
So I remember dying a bunch when I played it the first time. I didn't beat it, by the way. And I do remember why I noped out is because I felt confused, which I like because, again, I like how random it is. I think the Power Rangers are in it. Like it just
It wouldn't
gets,
surprise me at all. Yeah.
it gets really weird, and I love that. But then I felt like confused on what to do, and also dying, and so I was like, I don't know if I want to keep playing.
Yeah.
It might be interesting to go back to, but I don't know if I want to. I feel like if the combat was easier, but I can't. I don't. You just played it, so
Well, it's funny you say that because there is a new mode. I don't know if this is new or if it's old or whatever, because it's my first time playing, but you get like this party member who is worthless. He like attacks for like 1 damage. He doesn't really do anything. I think he's there for laughs or something. But like he says, if you use this item that I'm going to give you, it makes the combat way easier. So you could do an easier combat, but I was like, that's not even really the point. Like the combat is not great, but that's not really what's kind of putting me off. It's like the rest of it. For example, I got to this one section, and I guess it's this game's idea of a joke or something, but like you get to the section, there's a guy who's taking care of orphans. It's literally like a group of 8 orphans. And he's like, oh, little Timmy's playing with matches. Oh no, he set that brush on fire. Hey, mister, will you please go get that bucket and let's put out this fire? You get the bucket and it's full of gasoline. And so you end up dousing the kids with gasoline and burning them to death.
Oh, geez.
So I was like, holy shit, what? And I'm like, okay, so I reset the game. I'm like, fuck that. I'm not burning orphans. Are you fucking kidding me? So I go back to the game. Timmy plays with the match. The thing gets on fire. And he's like, go get the bucket. And actually the bucket you're supposed to get is like down the level and up a mountain or something. Because after you burn the kids, he tells you to go get the other one. So I'm like, no, I'm going to get the other one first. You can't go get the other one first. Even if you know where it is, you have to burn
tell
the
the
kids.
joke. They want to tell the joke.
So like you have to burn the kids. And I'm like, okay, so that's really distasteful and really like not cool. And I mean, I get it's a video game. No orphans actually died. I get it. I'm not a prude or anything. But just that kind of humor, I guess if you want to call it humor, or just that kind of writing, I'm like, oh, I don't know that I'm in the...
Yeah.
I don't know that this is for me, man. But it's interesting because after I bounced off of this, I was like, okay, I want to see what other people have to say about this. Dude, the reviews, 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it was like I was in the Twilight Zone where everybody's like, oh my God, love with the message of this game and so nihilistic and great, and they're doing it for point, and I loved it, and it was just amazing. And I'm like, wow. I mean, people can say what they want to say. I'm not going to take anybody's opinion away from them, but I don't know, man. I'd feel real weird giving this game a 10 out of 10, dude. So
I'd like to see what they do near the end, though, because there might be this interesting message too. So
I've heard it's a terrible message. That,
really?
That goes back on the themes of the game. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, let's stop talking about it for now.
Lisa Definitive Edition is out. It's not for me. Maybe it's for you. Maybe there's something there, but I couldn't find it, and I don't think I wanted to find it. So okay.
All right.
Next game I'm going to talk about is called The Wandering Village. This is one, oh man, I have waited a long time for The Wandering Village. I've been very excited for this one. Finally came out on the Xbox preview program. It's also on PC. This is a, I don't know, town builder, city builder sort of a thing where you have a group of villagers and you're building, town huts, doctors' offices, kind of like a SimCity sort of thing, but just like small scale. The hook to this and why I was so excited about this is because your village is on the back of a giant monster.
Oh, right.
It's a giant 6-legged monster that walks. It's as big as it's as big as Nebraska or something. It's this giant monster, and your little village is on its back, and so you have to construct your huts and your kitchens, and all the resources you harvest, like rocks and trees, are growing on its back. And I just love the idea of this little wandering village where you build things, but then also this monster is going through different territory. He's like crossing a desert. He's crossing a forest. He might find another big monster to fight. Who knows, right? And so you're kind of like tagging along on his back. That is a great concept. I love that concept.
Xenoblade has that, remember?
Oh, because you're in the body of those giant robots and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, monsters. They literally look like this. There's a couple of that look just like this.
Oh, okay.
I mean, also real quick, it came out in 2022, this game.
Mm-hmm. On PC?
If you weren't, for PC. And there's an update right now. I think that's why it's probably on Switch and other consoles.
Yeah.
It's called the Ocean Update. So
exactly. Thank you. Yeah. So it came to Xbox, and they sent me a preview code for the early access version, the Xbox preview program. So I cracked into it, and I don't know. I ended up being kind of mixed on this one. I love the concept. And it's really cool because you can zoom in real close and see your little villagers, and they're walking around building houses, and it seems like any other little town builder, right? But then you zoom out, and then it's like, okay, I can see that my village is on a monster. And then you zoom out even further, and you're like, oh man, my monster's in this giant territory. And you can see, just like playing with the scale is like really fun, and I think that's really a cool thing. But really quickly, I kind of got bored of it. I feel like, okay, so let me back up. I'm not a fan of these games in general. Like, I am not a guy who plays every one of these in this genre. But one game that I did love is Frostpunk. Did you play Frostpunk? Did we talk about it?
Yeah,
we must have
we
talked
about it a lot.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
talked about it a lot. I love Frostpunk. Frostpunk is the best because, number one, you can pause at any time. So there's not like that feeling of like real time, hurry up, hurry up. There's a great story. The things that you do have an effect on the world, and you can see what happens when you do them. Like if you build things that build more coal and you sap your coal mines, it has an effect on the people, and you can see cause and effect, and it feels like you're building things for a purpose. And then there's the larger story of like, don't get frozen to death. Frostpunk is like the ultimate shit, dude. Like, it's like, I love it. Everything about it is so smart and well done. So every game that I play like this is going to be measured against Frostpunk, which is a tall order, granted, right? So this one, I started playing it, but like I really quickly got the feeling that like it didn't really matter that I was on the back of an animal. It didn't feel like anything was going on there. It felt like I was doing regular city builder stuff, town builder, sim stuff. And I was just like a lot of funnel resources. You're trying to get like your resource thing where like you're collecting people are bringing the berries back to the kitchen, and the kitchen's got to make a certain number of meals, and the people got to eat a certain number of meals and build houses. And then you got to like, there's like this long tech tree of stuff where it's like, okay, here's your axe. And then there's like a sawmill. Then there's like a wood mill, like, like whatever. And it just really quickly felt like I was just focusing on micromanaging the tech tree and the resource flow, when that's not really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like, what's different about being on the back of this animal? What makes that special? What are we leveraging here? And the way that the game interprets it is like, oh, the animal is walking through a poison swamp. And so sometimes poison stuff will appear in your village. Okay, I get it. That's fine. But it doesn't really feel like a big capitalization. I didn't hit any fighting of other monsters. He was going to walk through the desert, which meant that the berries I had been growing weren't going to grow. So we had to switch to growing cactus because we were in the desert. I mean, okay, I guess. It just didn't feel like... it just felt like different weather patterns happening, or like different random events. You could have done the exact same thing without the monster. It could have just been a village where it's like, oh no, drought. Now we got to plant cacti. Just as easily as the monster walking into a desert. It didn't really feel like anything we did connected with the monster. We weren't like in sync with him. It wasn't like symbiosis or anything.
Yeah.
It was just like we just happened to be there. And then otherwise, it was just like every other... Set up your resources and make sure that you've got the ever expanding tech tree of the 9 different kind of sawmills, and they each are like a little bit more powerful than the last one. And it just got kind of, I just felt like I was doing a lot of stuff, but I wasn't really feeling like the world, or like I wasn't in tune with the beast, and I wasn't really like, like just a lot of menus and stuff. And I was like, man, what a great idea. But I don't see how this really comes together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny you should mention that, and this whole idea of this game, the sim game, because right now on Steam, SimFest is happening.
SimFest, okay.
It's like for 4 days, they just like feature a bunch of sims and demos for them. And it's interesting because all the stuff you said, and we talked about Frostpunk before, it just sounds like a normal sim game.
Yeah.
And it's doing this idea that they probably were really excited about, which is being on the back of a monster.
Which is such a cool idea.
It is. It's just like it doesn't seem to come into the actual gameplay enough. But there are so many other games that I think even you would enjoy that like are part of the SimFest I'm looking at right now that are doing everything you just said, basically,
Oh, really? Okay.
But they're just not on a monster. They're not on the back of a monster.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it's a bummer. I just wish that like, and it sucks too because I saw this game a long time ago, so I had all this time to imagine what it would be like, and my imagination ran away. But it's like, just more interacting with the monster more, or communicating with it, or doing some kind of just something else. I just feel like it just didn't get there for me, which is a real shame.
Expectations, though, we always say it.
It's very true. Very true. Okay. Final game of the show coming up. This is an interesting one. It's called Killsquad. And again, we got sent some codes from the developer. Carlos and I both did. So thank you very much for that. Playing this on PS5. This is a, I don't know, I guess top, like isometric twin stick shooter where you have 5 different aliens. There's like one or two melee aliens. There's a couple gunner aliens. There's one that's got a sword or something. So there's a mix of aliens there. And you kind of go into these missions similar to like something like a Helldivers is really kind of what it triggers for me.
Or Diablo.
Diablo.
I'm telling you, I got Diablo vibes when I played it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense too, for sure. So you go into these levels and fight monsters, team up with people online, and at the end of each level, you get some loot like you normally do. Skill tree, level your guy up, customize them, etc., etc. There's nuances to this that I really want to talk about, but before we get into the weeds on this, so I played it for maybe like 4 or 5 hours. Carlos, how much time did you put into this? A little bit?
Just a little bit.
All right. I could talk for, okay. I have some things to say, but I'll let you talk first because I feel like I'm going to like get carried away here. Before I go, I did like it. I have some things that are maybe not great about it, but overall I liked it. What'd you make of this, Carlos?
So I didn't get to the point where you said at some point you have to join other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm allergic to that.
Yeah.
Even in Diablo, there's like, you have other people that you're fighting monsters with just kind of randomly, and it never like you don't have to have voice chat on. It just happens.
Right.
And it's kind of relaxing. By the way, I didn't
Yes.
bring that up, but like there's events and like world bosses in Diablo.
Okay.
Which, I've joined many of them now, and it's like it feels really good to be on a team. Just don't die. You just try to make yourself not die.
Yeah.
Maybe you can buff the people around you here and there. And then you feel like you all accomplish something together, but then you just split up immediately.
Right. Yeah.
Don't ever talk to each other. I like that experience. So I don't know what, and you can tell me what the experience is after. But I just played kind of like the early stages.
Yeah.
And I would say that it reminds me of, Diablo, Helldivers kind of style. It also is very colorful.
Yep.
I actually am not a fan of how bright and colorful it is because I felt like it kind of impeded on the graphics.
Oh, interesting.
I felt like for my TV, I had to like adjust the TV.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. I think you're indoctrinated by Diablo 4 because that game is dark as fuck, dude.
Well, okay, there's that. I'll give you that. But also, I don't know what kind of TV you have, but I have like a QLED, blah, 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 fancy. And so it's like, it's super vibrant. And so like, it hurt. Like, it was like, this is really day glow.
Oh, interesting. I didn't have that issue, but that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, your TV is like all dusty and there's like smoke and...
It's just a normal. I have a normal.
Okay.
It's just only like a
TV.
year old. It's fine. It's a fine TV.
I don't know, in my mind, I just saw like this caked on dirt.
No,
for some reason.
I dust my TV. There's no dust on my TV.
Why would there be on your TV? I know. So okay, it was fun enough. It was like I didn't love the dodge that I had. Of course, I picked a melee character. There's like a robot person with a big hammer. That was me.
Okay, gotcha.
The dodge was L1, which I guess you could maybe remap it, but I hated it being at L1 on PlayStation. So I was missing the dodge sometimes. I felt like I was just eating shit, and I don't know if you could tell me, but I don't think there was a health potion that I could just use. I just felt like I had to find them.
There are.
Is that
you
right?
have to kind of unlock them a little bit. It's like after you get 1 or 2 levels in, and it's they kind of like low key downplay it, but you do get these health potions you can map to like the D-pad. Yeah.
Okay. In the beginning, I don't like that your first stage you don't have them.
Yeah, you do not have them right away, which is
so I was
stupid,
like,
yeah.
I was just eating shit sometimes, and I was like, well, I don't know. I guess I have to attack more, because when you attack, you get the health pops up out of the enemies you beat.
Yeah.
Anyways, then I found a boss. I fought a boss and I beat it. And there's special moves. I know I'm tanky. I'm a tanky melee character, so they were very slow. I just didn't feel very, powerful, and I felt like it was a little bit clunky, the controls, and it was very, very day-glow colorful. And for some reason, it gave me vibes of Outer Worlds, which I like.
I can see that in the environment. And
in
stuff.
the environment,
there's a
and the
little bit of
making,
that
and
vibe.
the feel, and the characters, and I was like,
Yeah.
I think maybe I could be in here for the long haul because I like some of what they're doing art direction-wise, but those colors I don't like. For some reason, I don't know if it's TV, it's a Carlos problem, but they just felt really bright.
Interesting.
But yeah, I just had an okay time with it. I didn't play it enough to know that how it changes and how co-op works, but that's the most I can probably say about it.
All right. Well, that's fair. I think I definitely liked it more than you. And I think the key to that was kind of like switching around until I found a character that really clicked with me. I started the base guy who's like just like a gunner type guy, and he was okay. And then I tried the sword lady, and I was like, that's all right. I don't know. I didn't try the guy that you play. I haven't even tried him at all. I tried the alien guy that's got like little drones, and I hated him. I was like, this sucks. But then I did the robot guy who's like the healer. He's got like a damage over time laser, and he can drop heals for teammates. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like I did this guy. This is clicking with me. So I found somebody that I liked. That helped a lot. And it's an interesting game in the sense that it is kind of like a game as a service, but it's also kind of like a campaign game. And those two things don't often go together, which I found to be interesting and pretty cool, actually. So how this starts is like there's a series of missions, and each mission is set. While the level topography is randomized, like you're not always going to have the same left turn or the same mountains or anything, but it's always the same mission. Like the first mission is always like kill this golem. The second mission is always like defend the point. The third mission is always escort the car or whatever. So you'll still do the same mission goal, so you know what you're doing, but every level is randomized. So you might be doing something in a different way or in a different direction, or something is different about it, which I appreciated. But I liked it because it kind of had the feeling of like progression of playing a normal like top-down shooter game where you just have these missions, which is great. You get these, resources I felt was kind of off. I didn't feel like I was getting very many resources. You have to collect money. You can buy better guns in the store. And there's also like an elemental system, which I wasn't a huge fan of. So it's like before you start the game, it'll be like, hey, a gun that shoots fire will be really good here, and a gun that shoots metal will be really bad here. And so you can kind of spec yourself out before you go. But that's a little bit more fiddly than I want to get. I don't think that really has a lot of value to it. I think that's just a way to get you to buy more guns and have an array of guns rather than just buying one really good gun and keeping with it. But that's not a big problem. I mean, a lot of games do that. But I did like the missions, and I liked how you progress there. Your guy or your girl or whoever, your character, your aliens, they have this skill tree, and you can customize them as you go. The more missions you beat, the more skill points you get, and then you can unlock branches on your tree. So like even though you may be playing, like I'm playing the healing robot, somebody else can be playing the healing robot, but our powers are different because I might lean into the heal, where like instead of dropping just a heal, you drop a heal that doubles healing if you don't touch it for like 1 second. And then if you touch it after 1 second, not only does it triple the healing power, but it also puts out like an AoE heal. Yeah. So like I really lean into the healing, whereas I could be playing with somebody who's leaning into the gun that he's got. So it does damage over time, but then also it shoots extra bullets. And also if you hit more than 2 people at once, it triples the power. So like you could be like the same character, same type, but like kind of like your barbarian, right? Like you can be a bleed barbarian, or you can be like a whatever. I was just going
to say, it sounds like a build. It sounds like a Diablo build. Yeah,
totally. Which I thought worked really well. I thought that was really great. I like the ability to do that. And it did feel pretty different to me. I think the problem was I wasn't unlocking enough skills fast enough, because what we got to was the ramping difficulty, right? So like you can kind of do the first 2 or 3 levels on your own, no problem. But the further you get, it just gets really tough. And I guess you can just grind the earlier levels, buy better guns, and I guess you could just try to one-man lone wolf it, but that's not really how this game is meant to be played. I did play with a couple people, randos, a few times, and when I did get to do that, it worked really well. Where we would just go in, and there was no chat, there was no dialogue, you don't talk to anybody, and I don't believe there's any way to troll each other. I think it's got to be just forced helping, which is really similar to the Helldiver system, which is why that system works so well. There's really no benefit to trolling anybody, and everybody's working together, and you don't talk to anybody, which is great. So when I got to go with people, I think that worked well, but there's not enough content for the single player, and there's not enough people playing right now that you can just jump in. Because what ended up happening was, I think pre-release, I ended up grouping up with like 1 or 2 other critics that were playing the game for review, and then the game dropped. And as soon as the game dropped, I think I got 1 more game with somebody, but then after that, I didn't manage to get a single game. I hosted a few times, like public hosted, where anybody could join. I tried to join other people's games that were in progress. I just could not get it to work. There just was nobody playing the game, which is a problem, because this is a severely multi-focused player game, and it's not skewed to where you can do the whole thing on your own if you want. And even if you did, it's kind of dull. I mean, I think a lot of the fun of this game comes with working with someone. The most fun I had was like just kind of buffing people, dropping the heals, kind of supporting them a little bit while they were doing the heavy lifting of damage over time. So without that, it's just not popping on all cylinders. I think that there's a lot of systems that they could steal from other games. Like, for example, Monster Hunter or Helldivers, like when you get into a mission, you can send off a flare to be like, hey, I need somebody to help me in this mission right now. And then the game behind the scenes will prioritize other players joining to join you in that mission, right? But they don't have that system. So I would frequently go into a mission that's open to other players and never be joined by anybody. Finish the entire mission. No one showed up. I couldn't find anybody else. So that was a bummer. I think it's a real problem, and I think it's a real warning sign for this game that they better do something to get players in like ASAP, or else it's going to die. I also think that this game has apparently been in early access for like 2 years. So that's a long time to be in early access. At least it seems like to me to be a long time. And I kind of would expect this game to be a little further along, run a little smoother, have a little bit more content, have a better multiplayer system. It feels like it's just getting started, but if these guys have already been working on this game for 2 years and this is where it's at, I feel like it's still a little bit behind the curve. So I like it a lot. Like, I really had fun playing it when I was playing it, but I just, you can't level up anymore unless you finish missions, and it's really difficult to finish missions without other players. And if no one is playing, then you can't really get in and dive in the way you want to. So I feel like they're kind of, oh man, I hate to say it's DOA, but like, I mean, I played this game on launch, the day after launch, 2 days after launch, and there was like nobody playing.
I don't normally subscribe to this, and I've actually actively been against it. The idea of like when you release games, you know what I mean? Because I've said like before, to go back, you could release Elden Ring and God of War and whatever, the new Xbox, whatever, Gran Turismo, all on the same day. And there's different people want to play different games.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
This might be the opposite of that, where Diablo's out. And this really felt like a Diablo type game, like a sci-fi.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
For sure. It felt like Outer Worlds world.
But in Diablo setting.
Yeah. And if it was out right now and Diablo wasn't out and I was hungry for a Diablo, like, to use your term, I think I would probably play it more, look for more gamers on there, But that might be part of what it's hurting it, really. I mean, like, everybody and their mother is playing Diablo 4.
It's true. It's interesting too, because it seems like they want this to be a game as a service, but they are so close to having this be a traditional single player campaign that you could just have multiplayer bolted onto.
Right.
That would be, I think, honestly, the better way to go. Like, if you did every level, if at the end of a level you got a brand new weapon, and if they had like planned it out like a difficulty curve over the course of a campaign, and little milestones so you could hit along the way so you could kind of work towards things, and your survivability was better as a single player, but you could have friends join you. I almost think they'd be better off doing that, because by pinning so much to the multi and then having no one show up for the multi, I mean, you're killing yourself. But there's a lot to really like about this game. I think the character design is fun. The Outer Worlds vibe, like you said, is cool. The Diablo style, or the Helldiver style, I think really works for me. I genuinely had a good time when it was working, like when I had a person with me. I mean, I guess you could probably maybe get some friends, like buy 4 codes and give them to your friends and get together and do that if you want. But I don't know. I feel like this is a great game in search of an audience that I don't know is going to materialize.
Here's the 2 things that I think they could do, just so, I don't know if they're listening, but like, because I did like the style at least. And again, sci-fi, having a sci-fi version of Diablo, it's hard to find, right? So I would say this. One, a lot people play it on their own. Like, I played Diablo 4 mainly on my own for like 100 hours, right?
Yeah.
Beat the campaign, did all this stuff. And then I was like, oh, maybe I will go and co-op with my friend,
Yeah.
And so that's first thing, like, build it so that I don't need to have to co-op. And then secondly, they probably can't do this part, but what Diablo 4 did well is that type of multiplayer, like I just told you about, that just kind of comes in and out.
Right.
It doesn't, you're not like lobbying up.
Like the ambient multiplayer, people just popping up. Yeah.
Because if you do it the other way and there's no lobby full, then you can't do it,
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, that's a reworking of like their mechanics, but the first thing they could do, which is just like, game balance, the one player story part.
Agreed.
And just let me just go be that robot and do it,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you actually reminded me of something else that I had a problem with was when I was in a lobby. Like, I would start a lobby, and I would be like in a game, somebody would join, but then it would be like, I don't know what we were waiting for. Like for example, like when you play Helldivers, I love Helldivers. They do everything like really smart in that game, and I feel like other games should steal from them because they did it right. But basically, you're in a lobby. As soon as you're in a lobby, you get like a 10-second countdown. So it's like, we're going in 10 seconds, whether you're ready or not. Get fucking ready right now because we're not waiting. and then you go. That needed to be happening here because I would get in a lobby with someone when I was still playing with the reviewers. We'd be waiting, and like one guy would be fucking with his gun or whatever. Like you could see he was in a stat screen doing something, and we're just waiting and waiting. And I mean, it was like minutes, dude. I don't know if he got up to get a cup of coffee or what, but it was like
you can't wait for other
yeah,
players.
you can't wait forever. Like put a fucking timer on this thing, and if he's not ready, he's not ready. And like like you got to like keep it moving. And there was way too many places where I was like, what's going on? Why are we not moving? Why are we not playing?
Yeah,
like we need to get it going. But I feel like all I'm doing is bagging on the game. But actually, I really like this game a lot, and I feel like there's a lot of potential here. I feel like they are so close to getting something really cool. It just needs some tweaking. And I know they've been in early access for 2 years or whatever, but I think they just need to like look at it in a slightly different way and maybe make some other bigger tweaks. But I feel like it's close. It's like a turkey sandwich, and you got good bread and you got turkey, but you got nothing else. And it's going to be a good sandwich, but you got to add like some mayo, and you got to add like a pickle and a little bit of cheese, and then you're cooking, like it needs a little bit more of that stuff.
Yeah.
But great base so far. I really like it, and I hope it survives, dude. I genuinely do.
I do too. I mean, again, I like parts of it. The Dayglow thing, the color, I don't know. I got to look at my TV.
Yeah, I didn't have that problem, but
maybe
yeah.
it's me. And then secondly is, I just feel like I want to be able to play it on my own.
Agreed. So. Fully agreed. But that is Killsquad. It's on PSN right now. It's on PlayStation. It's also on PC. I don't think it's on any other systems right now. But check that out. It definitely needs more people playing, and if you play, probably a pretty good chance you'll meet me online because I seem to be the only person who's online.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, that is the show. Those are all the games we're going to cover. We do have a couple more things before we go here. Carlos, anything non-game related you want to cover before we go?
Yeah, I will also mention that next week I'll talk about Remnant because I've been kind of dabbling in that. Remnant 2.
Remnant 2? Okay.
Yeah. I saw Ready Player One. I told you that. I think it's a good movie. By the way, it's on HBO, so you could just watch it.
Oh, okay. Available for streaming just for free there? Okay.
If you have the Max or whatever it's called now.
Right.
Also, I watched Glitch on that same platform. It's a very, very good documentary on this app called the HQ. It was a trivia game on your phone. It was a huge sensation, and there's a really good documentary about it. You wouldn't think that that'd be something you would be into, but it's really good.
I have never heard of this thing. They were like, oh, it was like a worldwide sensation. I'm like, really? I never even heard of it.
I never played it either, by the way.
How is it a sensation if we've never heard of it?
Well, 100 million people played it or something, so like...
I guess.
Okay, 100 million is too much. I think it was like millions of people. But, so there's that. And also, I finally saw Flash because it came to VOD
Oh, the recent movie with Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what. He's got problems, right? The actor.
He's got major problems.
Okay. We're not talking about the actor. We're talking about the fucking movie.
Sure.
Sorry. It's not geared to you. I'm just so tired.
No, I get you. You're cool.
But I just wanted to say because it was billed to me as Back to the Future meets, the DC universe.
Yeah.
And a multiverse story. So I was like, okay, all those things sound fun. And by the way, long story short, it was an enjoyable time. It was VOD, so I was just watching at home. I think I watched it in one sitting, actually. Usually I separated out a movie.
Same.
But I watched it in one sitting and had a good time. The main problem I had with it, though, is at the very beginning of the movie, they really lean on CG in this movie. It's like we were just talking with Ready Player One.
Yeah.
This one might be like 80 or 90% CG. But the very beginning is like, Flash has got to go save these babies who are falling out of a building. I don't know if you've seen this scene, but it's kind of a meme.
No, I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about it.
All the babies are CG, so it just immediately looks like fucking whack, like really stupid. So there are all these CG babies falling out of the buildings because they can't obviously do green screen, throw babies around IRL.
Yes, please don't do that. Anyone, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so it just looks fake the whole time, and they do this thing where they try to superimpose, Ezra's face on the CG Flash too, which looks bad. I just think all of it looks fucking terrible. And even the actress who's like falling, there's like a nurse. She's real for a while, and then the minute she falls out the window, she's CG too or something. It just looked fucking stupid, like so bad. And I'm just like, how do you start your movie this way? Like, maybe put it in the middle of the movie where we are all used to CG happening a lot,
Right.
It just made me like disgusted, and the reason I probably noped out of Ready Player One the first time with the state of CG that we're in right now. At some point, we'll get even more realistic, which are really close, but it's that uncanny valley that just looks like we're watching a cartoon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if the whole thing's a cartoon and an anime, I'm down. A good example is Spider-Verse, right? Like I love that thing because it was like an artistic, all of its art, you know?
That is its intentional style,
Yes.
not its budgetary limitations, right?
Yeah, yeah. We can't throw a bunch of babies out of a building. Also, they could have just not had a bunch of babies. Uh, there's a lot of ways to fix that scene.
It's funny, dude, because I've heard a lot of people say that it looked bad. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But like, it's funny because it's been a while for me since I've seen CG where I'm like, oh, that looks terrible. Like, it's been a while. Like, I feel like things are in general pretty good, and even though sometimes it's CG, I haven't had a stinker in a while. But this sounds like a real stinker.
It's a real stinker. The whole thing is. And by the way, here's the other crazy thing. The whole idea is that he goes back in time. It's based on comics that are already out.
Flash goes in fucking time travel all the fucking time.
And so when they do the scene, it looks cool. Again, if this whole thing was an anime, I'd be like, that scene was so cool. But it's all fake. So like basically he sees like moments in the past all around him. And that setup is cool, again, in like a Spider-Verse way. But it's bad CG. So none of it looks real. So even though it's supposed to be his real past, it's like, oh, his real past is made up of CG characters? You know what I mean? Like, that's what his past is. Oh, there's his mom and dad. There's CG mom and dad. Yet in another scene, we saw them as real people.
That sounds really strange. I wonder why they did that so much.
Yeah, and literally in that scene, they could have just put the actors in there, right? Like, this is a movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
It would have just been, like, a bad effects, and, like, you see, like, kind of a
green
foggy.
screen them in or something like that. Yeah.
It's just whack, dude. The whole thing. And, by the way, what's his name? Michael Keaton.
I was just going to ask you about that. I was just going to say, I like The Flash on TV. I think that the Flash TV series is quite good, and we were a big fan of that. I have zero interest in seeing this movie, but I was bummed because I would be kind of interested in seeing Michael Keaton return as Batman. So how was that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because they brought in a few different like multiverse, actors.
Yeah,
without spoiling it or whatever. But there's more. But he's a predominant one. He's like a main one, and it was cool to see him back. And he felt just like the old Michael Keaton or the old Bruce Wayne. So it didn't feel out of place at all. Weirdly enough, he actually felt the most grounded. Because guess what? He's a great fucking actor.
He's a great actor.
Yeah. And I won't spoil it, but he had a really cool ending to his arc.
Yeah.
So I liked him a lot in it, actually. And it reminded me of...
I would be down for a Michael Keaton Batman movie. Just Michael Keaton. I don't need
It could have just been him, by the way. And what's the other one? The movie he was in where was he flying or wasn't he? Oh, come on. The One Take movie.
Oh, I know what you're talking. It's like The Vulture or something like that.
Vulture, is that right? Birdman.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
So it felt like at times it felt like Birdman.
Gotcha.
It's like, oh yeah. So that was cool. Again, watching it at home because didn't have to go to theater. It's kind of cool. I like more VOD. Please put more new movies out on VOD. But yeah, I think it was silly. Like it was like, I can't believe you said yes to this. You're gonna let people see this?
That's a shame. That's a shame. Oh well. Well, I heard it lost crazy amounts of money. I don't know if that's true or not because the studios are lying pieces of shit, as we've seen with the SAG-AFTRA strike and protest right now. So, but regardless, I do kind of believe they have lost money on this because it did not. I'm not hearing anything good about it. So
yeah, they did get like $15 from me though.
Well, there you go. Give it to the actors.
Yeah,
or the producers or the gaffers or whoever. So
that's it.
All right. I'm watching American Born Chinese on the Disney Channel. It has Michelle Yeoh and a bunch of like really notable Chinese actors. This is, I guess, based on a graphic novel that I never heard of. But basically, what it is a kid who is a first generation Chinese kid, and his parents are both emigrated from China. He's having like some cultural issues. There's been a lot of films that focus on what it's like to be a first generation kid in America. If your mom and dad are from a different culture, but also some of the gods in Chinese heaven are at war, and the child of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, comes down, and he recruits this kid to help him in his quest. And so there are cultural issues going on about what it feels like to have a mom and dad who have this strong Chinese culture where he is like just wants to be American, but then also there's this mythological elements with like the warring factions of heaven and like Guan Yin and Sun Wukong coming down, and everybody's demons are showing up, and they're kind of like this like big mashup, but there's also like a lot of kung fu in it. There's also a lot of growing up. There's also a lot of comedy in it. It's like it's really really good. I think it's really awesome. My 14-year-old is really identifying with a lot of what's going on there, and I'm really appreciating the Chinese actors and a lot of just the elements. If you know anything about Chinese mythology or about even just Hong Kong flicks, there's definitely something here to like for everyone. I think it's really well done, and it's only 8 episodes, and they're only like half an hour each, so it's like a pretty quick. You can even binge the whole thing in a day if you wanted to. Make some popcorn, maybe go to the bathroom once or twice, but you can get through the whole thing. It's really good. I think it's excellent. Very very well done. Digging it. Went back to rewatch a little show called Cheers. You ever heard of that, Carlos?
I have heard of that show. Yes.
Yeah, we finished. My son and I are big fans of The Office, and we wanted another comedy, but we've already watched The Office all the way through once. We watched like the entire Office like almost 2 times, and we're like, okay, I could watch it again, but we should probably watch something else. And he's never seen Cheers. Didn't even know what it was. I mean, it was like from decades ago. But I'm like, Cheers was The Office before The Office was The Office. Would you like to give this a shot? He's like, yeah, cool. So we're watching the first season now. I think it's on, I don't know, Prime or whatever service we got it on. And like, I got to say, dude, like a lot of it really holds up. I was kind of worried about, it was like the early 80s and like some of that stuff is not PC anymore and standards have changed and everything. But like a lot of it really holds up. The one thing that I was not prepared for was the laugh track. I guess I just didn't realize, I guess when you're growing up watching it, you don't think it's a thing, but we have gotten away from shows, or at least I have, of comedies that have laugh tracks on them. And so to go back to the laugh track, it was really like mind bending for a minute to hear the people laughing and my kids going, what's going on? Or they're like, who's laughing? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, that was just a thing that we did on TV to cue the audience in when to laugh and stuff. But seeing Ted Danson so young and Shelley Long and like all of the different character actors there, people forget that Frasier started on that show, and like all of these like big 80s stars are showing up, like guesting on the show is like really cool. And it's really funny too. I think it really does hold up, man. We haven't come across anything that was really like embarrassing, groan worthy, inappropriate from the 80s, like we haven't come across any like off-color gay jokes or any real racial jokes or anything so far. I mean, I'm sure it's coming because it was the 80s, but it's been good. Been a pleasant surprise.
Cool. Actually, that's a tangent for me. And by the way, people should check out more older shows just to kind of see what happened and what we lived through. I just finished, finally, the 6-hour YouTube video that I've been watching pretty much every night when I eat dinner. It's by YouTuber LS Mark, and he ranked every Simpsons episode ever.
Oh, I heard about this. Every Simpsons.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes it's like just a few words, like it's boring or whatever, or he'll do like a minute maybe or 2 on each one. Mm-hmm. But he literally did all of them for 32 seasons.
I mean, how many episodes is that? Because isn't Simpsons the longest running TV show?
Yeah, it's like 700 episodes.
Yeah, holy cow, okay.
So I sat through all of his things as well. He had to film it all, but I listened to all of it because it's enjoyable for me and to watch, go downhill, obviously. But I just finished, and then he ranked at the very end. He even ranked them all, like literally individually. Just gave them numbers. And then what I'm doing though, and this is for people listening, you don't have to finish 6 hours like I did, although I enjoyed doing it. Is that now I'm looking at the top 50, and I'm going to Disney Plus and watching them.
The top 50. What is the top number 1 episode? Do you know?
Oh, I think it was. No, I can go to it real quick. Hold on. It was probably Bart Gets an F. Bart Gets an F is one of the top. Hold on, I'm going to it right now in real time.
Real time. We're going to it right now. It's happening because the wonders of the internet. We can do this in real time. It's happening.
It's hard to get granular on a 6-hour YouTube video.
I know, right?
With the mouse button.
Exactly.
I'm trying to do it right now. Okay, get to. Oh, it's the one that I love. It's grimy. It's Grimes. The enemy. Homer's enemy.
I don't know if I've ever seen that episode.
What the fuck, bro?
I'm not a hardcore Simpsons viewer. So
okay, it doesn't matter. Anybody listening now, this is why I'm glad I brought it up.
Okay.
Go to everybody who has Disney Plus, go to Simpsons and look up Homer's Enemy. I think I forgot which season it is, but you'll find it. Holy shit. It is fucking great. It's basically a person from the real world coming in going like, hey, Homer's dumb, right? Like, and he's ignorant and he's bad for society potentially. And it's a double-edged sword and I'm kind of not spoiling it, but one, he's pointing out, the third what's it called? Fourth breaking wall,
Breaking
or
the
whatever.
fourth wall, yeah.
And like the audience is like looking in. But secondly, it's also like, even though you don't like respect somebody, it's how you handle yourself, when you don't like somebody. So it's a very good message. It's a fucking great, weird, funny episode.
Interesting. All right, cool. Well, I guess for
Homer's
people who
Enemy.
need to bone up on their Simpsons knowledge, like yours truly, good resource to go to YouTube, check out those. And watching the top 50, I think, would be a great way to get caught up with 32 million episodes or whatever that The Simpsons has. So excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. A couple more things from me. Went back and started watching Star Trek The Next Generation with my kid. He's never seen it before. We watched The Orville with, what's his name? What's that guy's name?
MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane, yeah. And we really like The Orville a lot. I know that Seth MacFarlane is a pretty divisive character, and I'm not gonna choose a side on that. But on this show, on The Orville, he was very clearly a Star Trek super fan, and he did a great job. I feel like those episodes were really positive. They put the LGBT community in a really positive light. There were a lot of good episodes that they talked about societal issues that were happening right now. So regardless of what other people think about him in other contexts, in that particular context, it was great. And we loved that show. So I was like, yo, The Orville is over. And I know that you really liked it a lot. Would you like to see what inspired The Orville? Because honestly, The Orville is just straight up like homage. And he's like, yeah, okay, we'll check it out. And it was really interesting to go back to season 1 of Star Trek Next Generation, which is older than I thought it was. Like, for some reason, I didn't think it was that old, but it's hella old. And seeing all those actors being so young again and how cheap the sets were and everything, I was like, oh my God, I don't remember it being that low budget and stuff, but it totally is. And it's interesting just to see how much it grew over time. Because I don't know if anybody remembers, Captain Picard is a fucking dick in season 1. Like, he is a dick.
I don't like season 1, by the way. I like Next Generation a lot.
Yeah.
It looks super budgety.
It does,
and he feels off as a character.
He does,
in my
yes.
opinion.
Yes.
It just doesn't feel like they figured it out yet.
Yeah, they were still trying to find their beat, but he's like outright rude to a lot of people. Everybody in the ship takes a dump on Wesley Crusher. Like, they all just take turns being
that's why he
mean to his ass.
That's why he became a meme. Is because of how mean they were to him.
Yeah, it's like absurd how mean they are to him on that show.
Yeah.
And just all the weird stuff that happens. There's already been like 2 like hypersexual episodes so far, which is also kind of like weird and mind-blowing. But it's a trip going back to it, and we have been enjoying it. The son really liked it, so I think we're going to stick with it. But revisiting some of these old things are really, really, really strange. Really strange.
Oh, by the way, just real quick to finish it up. Yes, check out Next Generation. Homer's Enemy is episode 23, season 8.
Okay, there you go. Excellent.
So you have it, and you should watch it with the kid.
We'll do that. Final thing I'm going to call out for the show is a TV series from England or UK called Zomboat. Zombie boat mashup Zomboat. It's like 8 episodes. Episodes are like half an hour each. You can totally binge that in a day or 2 days or whatever. Basically what happens is a zombie apocalypse occurs and these people escape on a boat. I have never seen a boat like this before, but I guess it's a European thing. I guess it's called like a narrowboat. Do you know what a narrowboat is, Carlos?
I don't.
I didn't know about it until the show. It's a really narrow boat because I guess the canals in England are all man-made and they're all pretty straight lines. And so these boats are fucking long, but it's like you live on this boat. It's like a houseboat, but instead of being a square or whatever, it's just like a super long, super narrow rectangle. Anyway, they hop on this boat and they're trying to get to London to safety. And so the whole show is like each episode, them fucking with the boat or trying to get down the canal. It's comedy. Like, it's comedy. Like, there's a lot of jokes, a lot of goofiness. They do a lot of dumb shit, and it's really funny. If you like British humor, or you want like a little zombie action that's not hardcore at all. Like, for example, one of the jokes in the show is that the boat is so slow that in episode 1 they get chased by a group of 5 zombies, and those 5 zombies are following them on the shore every single episode for the entire series. Like, the boat is like edging along the same 5 zombies in every episode. It's really, really funny. It's very clever. Just light and fun. I had a good time with it, and you can watch it quick. It's not a big investment. So I thought Zomboat was really good and really a fun time. So there you go. That is a show. Carlos, anything else? No? Is that a show?
No, I think that's it.
All right, folks. As always, send us your questions and comments. Hit us up. SoVideoGamesPodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit us up individually. Carlos, where are we sending your traffic this week?
If you want to see some funny Diablo sketches, go follow me on TikTok.
All right. Where should they go if they want to see unfunny Diablo sketches?
Follow me on TikTok.
Okay.
Carl
Yes,
Sodella.
and yes, and all
Yep.
right. As for me, I'm on every platform. You know the drill. It's my name, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. And this is going to do it for episode 346. Thank you so much again, and thank you for welcoming Carlos back to the show. He will be back here and there. Looking forward to having you on the show again, sir.
Thank you.
All right. And for me, that's it. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Perfect ending. Perfect dismount.